Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros, or should I say Parks Booze, because we are doing another Not Scary Farm maze review, and this time it's all about the depths. Now the depths is themed to a mining company mining in a mine shaft and then getting lost and finding kind of like an alcove, kind of like the Goonies, in like a Goonies style. It definitely gave off that Goonies vibe, especially since you went through some old abandoned tunnels with like booby traps and things, and then you're led to this giant cove with a pirate ship even included. Now, I know that's kind of already spoilery, but I just can't stop talking about this maze. So if you don't want spoilers, make sure to click away now, because I will be giving a lot of spoilers away in this review. Although I will not have any footage because Knott's Scary Farm does not allow footage to be taken in mazes, so I did not shoot any footage of the maze itself. So as I said earlier, this maze is themed to a mining expedition. So you start out in this mine shaft with not many scares whatsoever. You just kind of walk through and there's some things hitting you in the face. The theming of the rock walls on each side are really nice looking, and it takes you until about 3 rooms in until you actually can get a scare, and these are just scare actors dressed as miners, and they actually did a pretty good job. They're not really there for jump scares per se, but they definitely are kind of the creepy, I'm gonna sit there and just look at you and make you feel awkward. At least that's what we saw from our walkthrough of it. But there were a lot of them that actually didn't try to scare us because we were a group of 6 guys, and they kind of backed off the moment they saw us, and we just kind of saw them and were like, hey, what's up? So I think that kind of deterred them a little bit from trying to scare us, but nonetheless, they look great. The costumes definitely are miners, for sure. Like, they look amazing. But there are interesting rooms with like moving parts and like mining equipment that really give off the vibe that you are underground. Now, if you look straight up in some rooms, you'll see that you really aren't, because you'll see the lights and also no cover above some of the rooms, which kind of does make it a little less immersive, but that's okay. That actually happens with a lot of mazes, at least at Scary Farm that I saw. So after a couple of these rockwork rooms, you find yourself stuck in a room with like some hanging fish bones, like huge fish bones that are actually made of foam, and they were kind of squishy and kind of a nice stress ball halfway through the maze. So if you're feeling stressed out, just go ahead and squeeze the fish bones. And actually, if you are tall, this maze may not be the best for you, because they do have some wires hanging down, like kind of a steel wire that will be hanging down. It's going to hit you in the face, and it's not the most pleasant thing, especially if you're taller. I know Evan, when he was going through, he had to close his eyes so nothing hit him in the eyes. So, but after you go through the fishbone room, you will go through another room with miners. Now, none of these miners are actually scare actors. They are just stagnant figures. But if you watch the Shadowlands review, it made me think like it was going to be a Shadowlands room where one of them was actually a scare actor. Now, for us, there was no scare actors in the 4 statue places. Now, were we missing a scare actor? It's possible. It definitely is, but nothing really happened for us there. So after that room, you hit one of the best rooms in all of Scary Farm, probably my favorite room. And this is kind of, I want to call it the waiting pool. It is absolutely incredible what they've done with this room. So this room is pretty much themed to water being about waist high and you not being able to see anything below your waist. And you see some rock work all around you, and there is this set path, but it is actually kind of hard to navigate because you don't know where scare actors are going to be. And I think there's about 3 in this room at all times, and they are kind of looking like creatures from the Black Lagoon. If you've ever seen the old Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, that's what they look like. And holy cow, they have some great scares and material that they can use, using what the lasers that line up with your waist, and then the fog that comes up from below your feet that ends up making it look like you are walking through water at waist level and you cannot see a thing underneath the lasers. So they could pop out of nowhere without you even knowing they were next to you in a second's notice and scare the crap out of you. And it's amazing. Now, we even had one of the scare actors come up and give me a little greeting, which was really cool. Just popped up right next to me and was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And I had no idea he was over there. None at all. It was awesome. And then as we were leaving the room, there was another scare actor that was just sitting on the ground, had no idea they were there. And then we just saw fingers pop out from the lasers and the fog and just start waving at us very slowly, finger by finger. And then we were like, "Whoa, hey, that's awesome." And they just did the little come here with their pointer finger and disappeared completely. And before we knew it, popped up behind us. Like, what? That's amazing. Anyways, after that room, you will hit probably the biggest room in the entire maze, and this is the Cove, which includes a pirate ship and a giant squid. We like to call him Cthulhu because that's what he reminds us of. But you are on this bridge that makes an L shape until you get to the pirate ship. But this room is filled with fog, but you can see the eyes of the giant squid, and there are giant tentacles all over the place, as well as 2 scare actors on the bridge itself to try and creep you out and chase you across the bridge. So then you make it into the pirate ship, which is actually quite small, at least the main pirate ship room is, and it includes a Davy Jones type of captain where he's got a squid face and some squid arms. So it's a really cool effect. He actually got me pretty good, where just he was staring at us like a stagnant figure and then popped up and looked straight at us and kind of got us that way. Now, after that room, you actually go through one of the better rooms of this maze, and it is a moving walkway. So the entirety of this room is shaking back and forth, and it is actually kind of hard to walk through because it is shaking so violently. So the entire room is moving back and forth, a good 6 inches each way, and it's 30 feet long, so you have a ways to go in this room until you can get out of it. But it's a great effect, and it works really, really well to make it seem more haunted and like you're possibly getting shaken around by the giant squid monster. And then after this, you hit some shark scare actors, which we only saw one of them on our walkthrough, but that's okay. I definitely loved their masks because they look like shark people. One thing I did notice, though, when we went through the one scare actor, actually the shark mask had come out from under their shirt, so you could see this just giant flab of prosthetic or mask that was hanging out over the shirt. So that was kind of distracting a little bit, but I mean, it happens. If he's having a really intense time scaring people, it's gonna happen. And then after that, you'll actually run into this giant shark animatronic, which looks super detailed and super amazing. Didn't scare us, it actually scared the group in front of us, so we saw it resetting. But the teeth, each tooth is hand painted differently with blood on it, and it is the best looking shark I've seen at a theme park ever. And that's even including the Universal Studios Hollywood Jaws shark. But at Scary Farm, this shark is only a head. So, and it's only working about half of the day on weekends. And it's also 30 years younger. But still a fantastic looking animatronic, and that's pretty much how you end the maze. And then you walk out and you are back in the backstage section of the park, and I absolutely loved this maze. It was most likely my favorite of the night. Now, my only problem with this maze is that there aren't really any jump scares or any really great scares at all. It's just the best set design maze and the best lit maze and the best just cared for maze and themed maze. At least out of all the mazes that I went through at Scary Farm, it is the best looking and themed maze that we went through all night. Now, granted, this is a new for this year maze, so definitely try and check it out as quick as possible because you never know how they're going to change it next year for better or worse. But my only real problem with this maze was just lack of scares. We had some great ones in the waiting pool room, as well as some of the other side rooms, but that's really my only complaint, and because of that, I'm going to have to rate this out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9. It is just fantastic, pretty much all around, and I'd love to go back through it as quick as possible because this maze is fantastic. I loved every part of it, and I hope they really don't change much next year because, man, there are a couple of those rooms that just need to stay. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the depths at Scary Farm for this year. There will be 2 more maze reviews coming up in the next couple days of Dark Entities and Special Ops Infected. Those are the only other mazes that I was able to do in one night. So definitely stick around for those. But the depths was still probably my favorite of the night. I loved it. It was fantastic. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And of course, as always, we'll see you on the next Fright.